setup. This is literally because the stuff isn't.
Thank you for that warm introduction. Thank you very much. All right, we are now on day 5 of the advent of cyber with TryHackme. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Day 5, Elf McSkidy has asked Elf Recon McRed to search for any backdoor that the Bandit Yeti APT might have installed. If any such backdoor is found, we would learn that the bad guys might be using it to access systems on Santa's network. So it looks like we're going to be going in and trying to find out how they got in, and then looking at the system to see if they were able to get creds. So let's bounce over to the screen so you guys can see everything. All right, so day 5 is called brute forcing. He knows when you're awake, and he knows when you have bad passwords on your machines. All right, today I believe Philip Wiley put out his video walkthrough. You can click on here and watch it. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through day 5, go through our learning objectives, and see if we can't clear out this room. All right, so our learning objectives for today. We're going to learn about common remote access services. We're going to go ahead and try and recognize a listening VNC port in a port scan. We're going to use a tool to find the VNC port server and the password. And then we're going to connect to that VNC server and see what we can do on it. All right, so first off, the remote access services. So what is a remote access service? Remote access services, I'm not going to read their big, long definition. Basically what it is it's a service that's running on a machine that you can use to remotely access it, just like it says. There are the 3 top on here: SSH, RDP, and VNC. SSH more commonly found on Linux machines. RDP is usually on a Windows machine, and VNC is a service that you can download and install on either machine. So, quick definitions: SSH stands for Secure Shell, RDP stands for Remote Desktop Protocol, and VNC stands for Virtual Network Computing. If you want to read through all of this, you can go on to TryHackme.com and join the advent of cyber, and you can go through and read this whole thing. We're not going to go through it right now, though. All right, our next spot, authentication. So authentication refers to the process in where systems validate your identity. So how can your identity be validated? There are usually 3 ways. Number 1, something you know, referring to like a password. Something you have. So that would be like hardware or software. Some people nowadays are using their cell phones. They give you hardware keys on there or software keys. And then something you are will refer to something like a biometric, like a retinal scan, a thumbprint, something along those lines. To backdoor remote, backdoor remote access services, we usually use passwords or private key files. For authentication, using a password is usually the default method. More than likely, everybody is using a password to log onto their machine. Microsoft Windows is now using the hello, so that's actually using facial scans. They use a password for the default method for authentication, and it requires the least amount of steps to set up. Unfortunately, passwords are extremely prone to attacks. Okay, so how do those passwords get attacked? Let's go through it. So passwords are the most commonly used authentication method around today. A lot of people are trying to get away from them. Like I said before, we got Microsoft using hello. Many places are now using the remote keys and so forth on your phones, or YubiKeys. Unfortunately, they are exposed to a variety of attacks. Some attacks don't require any technical skills, some such as shoulder surfing or password guessing. Other attacks requires the use of automation. So shoulder surfing, of course, would be standing over the top of somebody and watching what they type in, right? Password guessing would just be going up to somebody's computer and trying to guess what it is that they have. Usually you can guess what somebody has by knowing who they are. Maybe knowing a mother or father's name or something along those lines. You can put some keys together and guess that. Let's see what we got here. The following ways are some of the ways that are used to attack password. Shoulder surfing is looking over the victim's head, guessing password. There you go. Without proper cybersecurity awareness, some users might be inclined to make easy passwords like the personal details, birth dates, daughter's name, so forth, blah. Dictionary attacks. This approach expands on a password guessing and attempts to include all valid words in a dictionary or in a word list. So by using a text file, you can fill that text file full of a whole bunch of different words, run that against the username, and it's a quick way to do it. Instead of you having to type it in, you can automate that. Boom, it'll go through and check all of those passwords or all of those words in that file to see if they're on there. And then of course you got a brute force attack, and I think that's what we're going to do today. And the brute force attack is the most exhausting and most time consuming, where an attacker can try all possible characters and combinations. So basically it runs through the alphabet on every runs through the alphabet on every single character. So character 1, it'll go A through Z, capital, lowercase, 1 through 9, same thing, continue on down. Today, we're going to focus on dictionary attacks. Or let's focus on dictionary. Over the time, hackers have compiled one list after another of passwords leaked from data breaches. One example of this is the RockU list of breached passwords, which you can find on the attack box under user share word list rocku.txt. So, quick history, the RockU text file, that came from a breach of a company called RockU in 2009. Had over 32 million entries in it. So people have built off of that list over and over and over and added. I think it was last year, maybe it was earlier this year, I saw that list had grown to like 300 gigs. And that's a text file. That's just text. 300 gigs, something like that. For instance, a French user might use a French word instead of an English one. Consequently, a French word list might be more promising. So, like, if you're in France, you don't want to use an English dictionary, you want to use a French dictionary. Let's see. RockU's word list contains more than 14 million unique passwords. Even if we went through the top 5%, that's still more than 500,000. We need to find a way to automate this. So how could we automate going through 500,000 entries into a list? Well, we've got tools. So one of the tools that we've got with us, we're going to use today is Hydra. Let's go through this to start the attack box. Let's see. Start the attack box. Well, we already got the attack box on. It takes 2 minutes to start up, so I started before the stream started. So on the text box, open up a terminal, use Nmap to scan the target machine. So let's run real quick Nmap, and let's scan. We'll do a stealth scan real quick. 10.10.103.192. The terminal window below shows we have two listening. So we have 2 ports open. And we discussed this port in the last session. That's our SSH. And I believe we had it up here, right? Yeah, one of the remote services SSH. So SSH is open on this box. And lo and behold, we also have VNC open, port 5900. So that means this box has a service running on it. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to automate the common passwords or the entries from a word list. Here comes Hydra. Hydra supports many protocols including SSH, VNC, FTP, POP3, IMAP, SMTP, and all other related methods to HTTP. So we can learn more about Hydra. If we want to, we can go into the Hydra room and probably spend 30 or 45 minutes running through Hydra. But below are a couple of common syntax. So we got Hydra-L. So the -L should precede the username. That would mean that that's the login. So we're going to do Hydra login username and then P So P is going to be for the list of files that you're going to use. And then we're going to use the server, so that will be the IP address, and then the service of which one we're going to be using, which would be one of these up here. Consider the following concrete examples. So Hydra, so this would be like for the username Mark. We can do Hydra-L Mark-P user. We'll point it to the Rocky file. We'll use Mark as the username as it iterates over the provided passwords against the SSH. All right, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and, so we don't have to type this whole thing in here. Let's see what we got for SSH. Let's see if it shows us anything. Come on. That's the only thing I hate about these boxes. There we go. I'll do -4. All right, let's let this run. We'll let it run on. We're using it on username Mark. So we'll see what happens here. See if we get something back for username Mark. Restore file. It's attacking. It's attacking. Wonder where we're at though. You know what we're gonna do? Let's do this. Let's kill this off. Because we could also, I believe we can use it. There we go. We can also use a verbose. So let's do this. Let's do that, and then let's do verbose, so we can actually see what is going, what's being output. There we go. In fact, I want to make this bigger. All right, so we're going. We are currently running Hydra using the RockU text file. We're using the login Mark, and we're currently automating through all of these passwords in this list. You can see that there was it 14,344,398 passwords that we are trying to attack this thing with, and hopefully we can find one. Ooh, that's a dirty one. Now it's just wait time. We're waiting and we're waiting. What's up, Josh? I'm trying to run through every single one of these every day. Yep, it's Hydra right now. It's just a long process. I'm probably gonna kill this. Yep. I don't want to. Let's run. Let's not run this against. I'll log in. Let's not run this against SSH because it's going to want VNC anyway. In the example, they talk about SSH, but they're wanting the VNC password. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's a lot faster. One other. Yeah, no username. So many passwords. Everybody thinks you hit a button and you're in. What they don't see is this long sitting here and waiting for something to run through 14 million lines of passwords. I should say 14 million passwords. Yeah, it said to use RockU. They gave you the whole thing. There it is. There it is. Stop. I didn't put the F on there to finish. All right, let's scroll back up. I saw the password. All right, there it is. Boom. So our password to get in. VNC password. Oh, come on, bro. 1Q2W3E4R. Fantastic. Boom. All right, now we need to use a VNC, connect to it. Come on, black box. Yep. Copy. Now we want to run. Where is it at? There it is. Oh, just hit cancel. Okay. All right, so we're not using RDP. We're going to use VNC. We're going to use a 10 dot what was it at? 10.10.103.192. Let me in. We'll paste our password. Did we make this bigger? And there we go. I see your screen. And we are done. Oh snap. That was easy one. That was quick and easy. Quick little run through. I need to go back through and do a whole bunch more though. But one a day for right now, and then we'll get deep into everything. But for now, I think I'm gonna go hang out with the family. So I will see everybody later. Everybody have a good night. Haven't seen which one. Oh, that Bitcoin.